Welcome to Chapter 3 Performances. In this chapter, we're exploring how gender isn't just something we are, it's something we do. Let's start with a simple idea gender rules. Gender rules are the unwritten instructions for how to appear and behave as a man or a woman. They shape things like the clothes we wear, how we move, even how we express emotion. For example, one common gender rule says that young women should give visual access to the curves and contours of their bodies, at least under certain circumstances. Most of us learn these rules without even realizing it. Sociologists use the phrase doing gender to describe how we actively obey and sometimes break gender rules in daily life. Doing gender isn't passive, it's a performance we engage in constantly. Gender rules vary across cultures and they change over time. What's considered masculine or feminine in one place or era might look completely different in another. We also adapt these performances depending on where we are. This is called cultural traveling, moving from one cultural or subcultural context to another and adjusting how we express ourselves each time. The way you do gender at work, for example, might differ from how you do gender with friends or family. We learn gender rules throughout our entire lives. This process is called the learning model of socialization. It reminds us that socialization isn't just something that happens in childhood, it's lifelong. We're constantly learning, relearning, and negotiating social expectations as society changes and as we move through new spaces. So, why do we follow gender rules in the first place? There are a few key reasons. Sometimes we do gender out of habit. It's simply what we've learned to do, automatic and familiar. Other times we do gender for pleasure. We might genuinely enjoy expressing ourselves in ways that align with our sense of identity. We also do gender for others. It's a way of signaling belonging, of fitting into the social spaces we value. And sometimes we follow gender rules to avoid negative attention. When we break a rule, people may respond with what sociologists call gender policing. Negative reactions meant to push us back into conformity. When that happens, we're held accountable. Accountability means we're expected to explain why we didn't follow a rule that others think we should know. We might offer an account, an excuse or explanation to smooth over the social disruption. Of course, some people choose to challenge or break gender rules on purpose. Doing so can spark discomfort or even backlash, but it also opens space for change. Every time someone resists the norms, it shows that gender is flexible, not fixed. Even when we think we're breaking the rules, we often still operate within the gender binary, the larger system that divides everything into masculine or feminine. So, part of understanding gender performance is realizing how deep that binary runs and how often we unconsciously reinforce it. And finally, the number one gender rule everyone must be recognizably gendered. When someone falls outside those expectations, they can become what sociologists call culturally unintelligible. That means people literally don't know how to interact with them because they fall outside the symbolic meaning system our culture relies on. Understanding that helps us see how powerful these social performances are and how much courage it takes to live authentically outside of them. So, in this chapter, we've explored how gender is something we perform, how we learn the rules, follow them, and sometimes break them. By becoming aware of these performances, we can start to see gender not as destiny, but as something creative, something we can question, reshape, and reimagine.